happened? Did you hit your head?
No.
Oh dear, sweetie.
Hey Christian, that's your best side. Cameron, how'd you get out of your cage?
Leave me alone, Marlene. Don't mess with me.
You may have a job too. According to the National Safety Council, there were over 4,900 workplace fatalities last year. And most of them had something to do with rushing, frustration, fatigue, or complacency. Jazz, are you hearing this?
Yep. And at any point, we can find ourselves rushing, frustrated, fatigued, or complacent over time.
So how do we deal with that?
Larry taught me some techniques to keep me from getting hurt. CERT, C-E-R-T, Critical Error Reduction Techniques. Watch.
Larry's your man. Larry. Well, go right ahead. Larry. Yeah, that's what I said.
If you look at these techniques on the back of the card, the first thing, self-trigger, right? The second one, you're going to analyze the close calls and the small errors, figure out if it was a state like rushing, frustration, or fatigue, or whether it was a habit, something you do automatically, right? You're going to watch other people for these state to error risk patterns, and then, like we always said, you're going to work on improving your habits, so you look first before you move, right? The first critical error reduction technique is you got to learn to self-trigger on the state so you don't make the error. And do it in real time, like quickly enough to prevent the error. Okay. You know, what I'll say to the adults is, there's, halfway through the intersection, when you're looking at the Kenworth transport truck this far away from you, that's a little late in the day for, oh, I guess I should have self-triggered. You're going to be dead in a second. So you got to learn how to be able to do it actually quickly enough to prevent the error. Next time you're in a rush, wake up late, whatever, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna keep my eyes on task. I'm gonna keep my mind on task. And if I'm rushing, I might fall, so I'm gonna try to keep my balance and traction and grip.
That's all you got to do when you're in a rush is focus on that, and you won't get hurt. That's it. That's what's so good about this stuff, is that it's not like you have to do everything under the sun, because there's only so many ways you're going to get hurt. So we talked here about the self-triggering technique. Okay, you're in a rush, you're tired, you're frustrated. Instead of thinking about why you're in a rush or what's going to happen if I miss the school bus, you want you to be thinking about, not making one of these 4 mistakes, right?
Can I see the rest?
Sure. Now, that'll work for these first 3 states. If you're in a rush, you're frustrated, or you're tired, because you can tell when you're rushing, and you can tell when you're frustrated, and you can tell when you're tired. But for complacency, if you're doing stuff that's normal, you got to make sure that what you do normally automatically is safe. In other words, you automatically look both ways before you cross the road, and you probably do that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you think about things like your habits, it's a lot easier to work on your habits now than after you get older, or worse, after you've had a couple car crashes or worse,
Mm-hmm.
So, which critical error reduction technique or which critical error reduction techniques could you use to prevent something like that from happening to you again?
Well, on number 1, self-triggering on the state. Well, the state was rushing,
right.
And when I'm rushing, I could stop and think about the 4 errors.
Right. Good for you. Good for you. And if you stop and think about those 4 errors, is it likely going to keep you from making one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And number 2, analyze close calls and small errors. I should have been,
Well, you did. You're analyzing it right now. So
yeah.
You're doing it right now.
I number 3, where it says look at the pattern, the others,
right.
Like for the other people, for the patterns that increase the risk of injury. I've seen people fall off stairs and stuff, and they have bad injuries.
Right. What about the habit thing?
It's not really a habit for me, because I usually look down when I'm on the stairs. I always look down, and I look up sometimes so I can see where I'm going. So it's not really a habit, but when I'm rushing, it is kind of a habit, because I'm focusing on something else than looking down.
Well, that's one of the big problems with rushing is that you don't always do what you normally do because you're in a rush. So, looking at the stairs, which you might normally do, looking down, you don't always do that when you're in a rush, right?
I
So,
don't always do that.
and you're looking at the magazine. You got the mind not on task, eyes not on task. You're focusing on the magazine, right? So, leads to the balance, traction, grip, the corner, line of fire, boom, you get hurt.
Okay.
You're getting this stuff quickly. That's really cool.
Next time I'm rushing, the START technique that I'll use is self-trigger on the rushing. This will help me think to stay out of the line of fire of other hazards and whatever I'm doing.
START technique I use now is I remember the injury that I had so I can focus more on not getting hurt.
Now that there's a 3-hour commute between home and college, I've adopted a new START technique of watching others. You see, if I see a guy next to me yawning in his car, I'm gonna stay away from him. And if I'm thinking about getting tired, I take a break.
The critical error reduction technique that I use is that I analyze the close call. I stopped after that accident and took a look at it and figured out what I was doing wrong and recognized that I needed to allow myself more time to get myself and my things and the kids in the car in the morning. And I take more than one trip, and I don't rush in and out of the door.
So Marlene, after you figure out the states and errors that got you hurt, use SERT, critical error reduction technique. 1, self-trigger on the state. 2, analyze close calls. 3, look at others who could have gotten hurt. And 4, work on your own habits. Back to you.
Thanks, Jazz. Here we are at Grandma's, and hopefully we can give her some pointers on safety.
And maybe she can give you some pointers on cooking, too.
Just unload the truck, TJ. Jasmine, are you hearing this?
Oh, I agree 100%.
I thought you liked my cooking.
Well, I was talking about giving some pointers to Grandma on safety. Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, as I was saying, here we are at Grandma's, and yes, Grandma got hurt too. She got hurt in the car, but not while driving it, while getting in it. Check out what happened at Grandma and see if you can figure out the states and errors.
What's your SafeStart story? What's your SafeStart story? Tell your SafeStart story.
Hi, I'm Grandma Julia, and I hurt my hip getting in the car. I was getting ready to get in my car, and I was trying to get something out of the back of the car, but the seat wouldn't move, and I got frustrated and twisted around some kind of crazy way and hurt my hip. And I had to have hip surgery because it pulled the sockets out of place some kind of way. I try to put that kind of stuff out of my mind. I could have fallen and it would have really been worse because I would have been out here and no way to get in touch with anybody or get any help. So I'm glad, I didn't want it to happen, but I'm glad it happened the way it did.
So, what critical error reduction technique should Grandma use? You think about it while I call my agent. Hello? Yes, this is Marlene. Marlene. No, not Marlene. Marlene, you remember me? M-A-R-L-E-N-E. Marlene. Hello? Hello? I must have dialed the wrong number. Back to Grandma's injury. Well, she could use any of the SERT techniques, but the best one is probably to remember the next time she gets frustrated, she should think of this injury and then focus on the errors so she won't get hurt. Let's go inside. Hey, Grandma. I'll be there in a second. Accidents resulting from falls were the leading causes of accidental deaths for people over 65. And like I said, hopefully we can give Grandma some pointers on safety.
Hopefully Grandma will give you some pointers on cooking.
Whatever, Christian. You and TJ need to get some new material. I gave Grandma a SafeStart card so she can learn the new terminology. Let's see how she's doing. Hey, Grandma, have you been working on that new terminology?
Girl, I'm spent. You feel me?
What? You're tired?
I'm just ruggling to finish. From shizzle.
Teen Lingo Dictionary? Where'd you get this?
From my partner, TJ.
TJ, I should have known.
My math skills are off the hizzle.
No, I was talking about the SafeStart lingo. Eyes on task, mind on task, line of fire, and balance, traction, grip.
Oh snap, TJ's got me talking smack up in this piece.
I just know that we should be focused on rushing, frustration, fatigue, and complacency. I'm concerned that you're in a state of mind where you could commit an error that could get you hurt.
Girl, why are you putting me on the blast?
Well, Grandma, I've already showed these people what happened to me when I was rushing in the kitchen, which led to the line of fire, and now you're rushing, and it's keeping your eyes and mind off task. see, your finger was in the line of fire.
Oh, snap.
Can you please talk like a grandma?
My bad.
Let's go to Jasmine one more time and see how we can put this all together.
Peace out.
Peace out, Grandma. But before we go, I would like to show you a clip of my interview with Larry when my eyes were on test and I knocked my drink over.
Looking before you move is a really key thing to get in terms of, so you do that automatically, so that you look automatically first. Because when you see somebody else doing something that might get them hurt, they're not watching where they're going when they're riding their bike or they're driving their car or something like that. Well, you just moved there without looking, right? And you knocked your drink over?
Well, I was stretching and I didn't mean to stretch. I mean, I didn't even know I was stretching.
But what you did right there, okay, that is an example of moving without looking. You wouldn't have knocked that grass over if you were looking at it.
I mean, I didn't know it was there. I mean, I didn't know I was stretching.
Exactly, you're doing it automatically. But if you're gonna move without looking and there's something in the way, in this case, in the line of fire, you're gonna knock it over.
How would I know if like whatever I was doing? Because some people, they stretch naturally. Like
Right.
I was just doing, I didn't know.
You're stretching
really...
habitually. You're doing it automatically. You stretch automatically. You're doing it without thinking about it. You moved without thinking about it, but you didn't move your eyes first. If you do that in the car, you're gonna kill yourself. If you did that stretching thing, say, and it wasn't just your
drink.
Your drink. It was
hot stove.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Or
could
the
burn
frying
yourself.
pan, right? Or the sharp knife, or something like that, right? So that's exactly what that habit thing is. Working on your habits is so that you look first. Get the look first. Here's something I kind of want to show you here in terms of why me just explaining this to you right now isn't enough. Okay. What are the 4 states?
Rushing, compatibility, frustration, and tired.
Right, you got it. Okay, what are the 4 errors?
Looking where you're going.
Right.
Not thinking about it.
Got it?
And line of fire.
Right.
And what was the last one? Can we cut this? I'm
No,
sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. This is exactly. Keep going.
I know what the last one is. Okay, I did the eye contact, and then balance.
Balance, exactly. Okay, you go. Say you got the 4 states and you got the 4 errors. Okay, now here's the part that
See, I mean, anybody can forget it sometimes.
Oh, I know, no. But anybody could forget, especially if you've just done this, right?
Mhm.
Now try to remember the 4 techniques.
Self-triggering.
Got it. Good. Good for you.
Ow.
Good for you. Got it. You got the self-triggering.
Number 2 is. Skip number 2. Number 4 is working on habits.
Right. Good for you.
Number 3. Oh, I know this one. I know it.
Hey, don't sweat it, Jasmine. Don't sweat it. This is the whole reason that you got to take the course. And you got to like tell your stories and talk and interact with your parents. It's just this right here. If you took this course and I asked you these questions, you'd be able to fire them off no problem at all. But it's not just about being able to answer it like it's a test at school. That's the whole thing. The test is, did you actually work on any of your habits? Did you actually get so you look before you move? That's the whole reason that people got to take the course. And you can take this course online, just click and point. You're in grade 8?
Mhm.
If you can read at a grade 7 level, you can take this course.
You've come this far. Here's your chance to protect yourself with SafeStart, as well as increasing your chances of winning some great prizes. Log on to www.safestart-home.com. If you're in grade 6 or below, click on the Games button for a different way to learn about SafeStart concepts through such games as Harry Larry, Word Search, and Safety Sleuth. If you're in grade 7 or above, click on the Take the Course button.
Thanks for coming in. I'd like to have a conversation with you about safety. You know, injuries, how we get hurt, how not to get hurt, all that kind of stuff. You're excited already, aren't you? I could tell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Larry. This website is one part of the SafeStart at Home program, which includes videos, games, and other resources available to folks of any age who want to learn how to be safe all the time. From time to time as we go through this stuff, Larry will pop in with his comments.
If you ask anybody.
But not yet. We've all been injured, some of us quite badly, when we could have avoided it. Ow! In fact, you probably had at least one close call that could have killed you, or at least messed you up pretty good, right? Never had a close call. You're either the luckiest human being alive, you're Superman, or you're lying.
Please hang up and try again. Thank you.
Good luck! You're taking SafeStart home. I've got my whole family here, but before we eat, let's summarize the whole SafeStart process. Cameron?
Number 1, tell your story. Number 2, find the errors.
Eyes not on task, mind not on task, line of fire, balance, traction, and grip.
Number 3, find the states,
which are rushing, frustration, fatigue, and complacency.
Number 4, apply critical error reduction techniques, or CERT, to reduce your chance of accidents.
Self-trigger on mistake. Analyze close calls. Watch others. Work on habits. You feel me?
Remember that we are trying to become safer. So this means change the way you do things, so that you too can change the things you do more safely. Marlene promised me some human food for saying this.
Come on, everybody, let's go eat. Line up. Who's first? Oh, that's my boy, Maurice. You like my cooking, don't you?
Help me.
Not you too, Maurice.
This food is not for human consumption. Please give me my dog biscuits now.
Hey, Grandma, have you been working on that lurking? As I was saying, I don't know that line. And then focus on the errors so she won't get hurt. Let's go inside. What's that?
Is that light too bright?
I can't see.
I guess that means yes.
Kenzie, say that. Say that there.
You're going over this route, right, and it's slippery, and then you slip off if you're going over.
The CERT technique I use in keto is I remember the injury that happened when I was put.
Do you think you're going to be fatigued when you get home?
No.
No, you won't be tired?
No.
Do you ever get tired?
No.
What about other kids at home? What should they do when they get tired?
When they get tired, well, when Erin gets tired, here's this. She goes to bed. Third, describe the injury. Third, describe the energy. Third, describe the injury.
Your parents ever get frustrated?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what can you tell them?
Stop being mean to me.
Cameron, come here. Cameron, come here. Why don't you take Maurice for a walk? Wait, Dave. Dave, wait.
Yes, sir. Got it.
I need you to sit, no.
Oh.
Like a eager.
Sit. Maurice, come here. Sit. Sit.
Maurice, sit.
Sit.
As animated as I want, I can act goofy and stuff, but I gotta stand still. But the situation could have turned out a lot worse if I was...
Here we are at the zoo where my sister Ashley works in the horticulture department. Let's check out what she does.
Check out what she does.
Okay.
Cool. So are you going to be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? How much blood did you lose?
Not much.
Okay, good. Okay, now let's see you do some acting. So this time when you do it, when you reach back, grab your hip like you just pulled it, okay? Are you stuck?
Hey, Grandma, have you been working on that new terminology?
Girl, I'm spent. I'm just thrilling to be chilling. Is that right?
Wait, did you make that up?
I'm just struggling, struggling to finish 2 faux shizzle.
Okay, say it.
I'm just struggling to finish 2 shizzle.
Faux shizzle.
Faux shizzle.
Okay.
I'm just struggling to faux shizzle. I'm just struggling to finish a shizzle.
Can you please talk like a grandma?
My bad.
Let's go to... Please talk like a grandma.
My partner TJ talked.
No. Can you please talk like a grandma?
Peace out. I mean, my bad.
Your finger was in the line of fire.
Peace out. No.
Please. Let's go to Jasmine one last time and see how we can put this all together.
My partner TJ.
No, peace out.
Peace out. Ooh.
Let's go to Jasmine one last time to see how we can put this all together.
My partner. Peace out. Peace out.
No, you say, oh snap.
Oh snap. Wait a minute. Where are you?